Well guys, we're working on this here today. This is Monday, but it's kind of slow right now around the shop, and it's just brutally windy outside. Really windy out there. So I'm kind of just avoiding doing shop or road work today because nothing's really pressing, and I just don't want to be fighting the wind all day. So we're in here playing around with this, and we'll see if we can get her unloaded and off the trailer. Basically, the main objective is to not get hurt, and then to also not have the thing roll off the trailer somehow and hurt me or the truck. So I got a chain fall right there on the left side here to prevent it from wanting to roll that way. And then these straps were just there for transport, so I'm gonna take those off next. And then I'm gonna lift up on that hitter assembly to hopefully pick the whole thing up on the one side. And then I'll block it up, and then I'll get to working on welding that wheel back on. Yeah, I think that worked out okay. It's a couple moments where I was like, oh boy, I don't know if this is a good idea. But I actually think it's gonna be better to work on it on the trailer, because now I can at least like stabilize it and like physically secure it in place, whereas working on it on the ground, it would be kind of hanging from the crane and just on jack stands. But this way I can do both, as well as strap it and chain it to the trailer itself. So that'll just make it a lot more comfortable working underneath it. So I think we're all right there. We'll just try and get this thing welded on as best as we can. Cut that old shit off the frame. That's going to be the tricky part, is just getting all the old weld off the frame where it needs to be. With any luck, I can maybe just change a location that it welds on, move it in a little bit or out a little bit, and then this little bracket here, this can just get cut off and bent or whatever it needs to do to accommodate where it sits. I think that's probably the better way to do it, rather than try to cut out all the old weld on there, because you can kind of see where the old weld is right in there. Just a bunch of bubble gum. It does not look like it's its first time being repaired. But if a guy, rather than trying to get all that, get rid of all that, like if we can just weld it here or here, I think that'll be way better. But we'll see what we do. So that's with a scarfing tip. I haven't really had the opportunity to use it a ton, but well, I got a little deep here, but it's basically a curved torch tip, and it kind of allows you to get flush with the material rather than, and I should have just ground this bit if I cared about it, but I tried to get a little too much, and then I got into the material here a bit, but I think for what we're working with, that's all right. piece we're working with is a heck of a lot more manageable. And we can pretty much go ahead now and mark this out and cut it off there nice and square. Okay, so now we just gotta use the grinder a bit to clean this up. Had a little bit there where I kind of went, you know, off my line, but there it goes. But yeah, that'll work for free-handed anyway. Okay, and then we got that little spot to clean up, and then this backside here. I don't really know what's going on with this. Must have been from the original weld. It kind of too deep maybe. But anyway, we'll get this cleaned up, get all that cleaned up, and then we'll get the pounder itself cleaned up and get this thing glued back on. So, slight change of plans here. So this right in here, where that big booger of shit is where it used to be welded to, okay? So my thought was if I could weld it kind of in here, you know, we'd be a little further out this way, but that wouldn't really matter. Anyways, my new thought, so right now, the bottom of that, the bottom of this here is up to this top ledge is 19 inches over there, and the best that we would be right now is about 16 and a, well, it would be 17 and a half if we welded it here. So this side would be sitting like this, right? Which probably wouldn't be the end of the world. But I think what would be better, what I'm probably gonna do, is cut out a piece of plate or a piece that can go across right here. So then I'll actually weld it right here, and then the trailer leg or that axle will butt up to here. So this dimension's about 2.5 inches. So that'll actually put us almost bang on. And then this weld here would be a lot better. And if I want to, I can weld that axle to the plate and then just put the plate here. And then that way I'll have all comfortable position welds and everything like that. And then my height would also be the same. And I think that is the way that I want to go with it. So, new game plan. So decided I'm gonna take this metal off of here. This is the old bumper and outrigger setup that I used to have on my Ford F550. But now I'm gonna cut this off, and these are perfect. This is 9 inches wide, and what we need is 8, the span we're trying to go. So we'll have a 1/2 inch on each side to lay a weld down on. So it's gonna work out really perfectly actually. Probably just gonna cut it just under these bolt holes, and then again for the width that I want, so that I don't have to, you know, have any bolt holes on there, which it'll just be better without any bolt holes. So anyway, that's the game plan. So I'm gonna get these marked out and cut one of them off, and yeah. Think that's a good idea, Joe? You think that's a good idea? Yeah, he thinks that's a good idea. So I took a measurement from the center of that wheel up to this top ridge there, that C-channel frame. And because we're gonna be welding to the bottom of the frame, so our space is gonna be different. But from the center of there to the top of there, in order for this to sit the same, from the center here, we're gonna have to cut it again right here, and that'll, this missing piece will accommodate that gap that we're filling with the plate plus the 3/8 plate. So then it should sit pretty much perfectly level that way. So yeah, and here's our piece all cut. So this is gonna be where we'll weld it to the pounder, and then this will be where that's gonna get welded on to here. So, okay. Well, it actually surprisingly was pretty much bang on square up and down. Now that being said, like the whole thing is a little bit bent, but like I said, it's okay for what it is. But it actually lined up pretty decently. Okay, so I'm going to probably get some type of jack on the bottom of this so that I can just run it up with a jack, see how it all looks, and then if it looks good, I'm happy. Then I'll come back here, weld it out fully all the way around, and then we'll weld it up to the pounder. Well, here's our first little go around there, just with some 6011, just because it's kind of dirty, and thinking oils and paint and stuff might melt out of there as we go, but I might do a final pass or two with some 7018. But anyway, this is starting to take shape. I did test fit it once, I didn't show it because the jack situation was kind of shitty. I'll use a bottle jack this next time here and it'll be a whole lot better, but yeah, this should work out really good. Okay. So there we got two passes, front and back, 6011. So now, well, if I'm gonna put a second pass, I guess now is the time to do it. I don't know that it would really need it, but it definitely ain't gonna hurt it, especially just for how much these things bounce around. And so I'll probably lay some 7018 over that, a couple passes, and then we'll get it welded onto the pounder. Well, there's the finished product for the leg of the axle. It ain't perfect, but it's pretty good. That'll hold way better than the other stuff did. I don't think that stuff ever had a hope. Just gotta knock some of these BBs off and I'll be happy with it. Okay, so we got her fastened there. We got our centers lined up. So I can just tell with the naked eye that it's kind of cambered out a little bit. So I'm gonna try and cheat that a little when I weld that plate fully, but I mean, it's all right. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and tack this into place, and then I can kind of play with it and see what'll work the best. Okay, well, I got it tacked on, and then I kind of flexed it downward a bit, and it's kind of, to the eye, it looks to be following the same angle as the actual pounder is, because it is leaning, that left side's a little lower, so it looks about right there. It's as good as it's gonna get. So yeah, I'll just set you guys up somewhere, hopefully catch some of this, and yeah, that'll be a wrap for this part of it until we gusset that arm anyway. So okay, so we're gonna do the same thing, 60-11 for the initial pass, just to burn away any paint or oil or whatever. It is cleaned pretty good, but I just seem to have good luck doing it that way. Well, that was a bit more kind of awkward positioning than I thought, just with these hoses above, but not bad. We'll clean it up and then we'll probably just put one kind of weave pass of 7018 on there. I don't need two of them. And we'll go in from the same angle. I think that's probably the best. Okay. Well, hey guys. Yeah, my phone died in between videoing, so I got the wheel back on there, and I'm really happy with this repair. I honestly think this is really, really good, and it's never gonna go anywhere. So I just ran that piece of angle up to the frame, and I was pretty happy with my overhead welds as well. They're kind of coming along slowly, but they're getting to be pretty decent. There's those ones there. So I'm pretty happy with that. Yeah. Anyway, guys, this is the wheel now. So that's 100% on and ready to get put back on the ground. And it actually looks like it's pretty true to, you know, up and down and all that. So now next is to cut this guy off, and I'm gonna put another one on. I actually have one of these, and I got a couple extra jacks here that we use for this, for right here. If you're loading, you can put the jacks down. So I got two, so I'll just use one on this post pounder for now. But yeah, I'll weld one of those little mounts on here, and this thing is ready to stand on its own feet. That is pretty handy, that little tool. This little nick here, I actually don't think that was me. I'm not just saying that, but anyway, that's pretty cool to, you know, get it down that far with pretty much not hurting anything. So that's pretty cool. Kind of like a poor man's arc gouger. I mean, it definitely doesn't do as good as what that would do, but when you don't have one, it's pretty good. So we'll grind that up and get ready to weld the new one on. Okay, so I went ahead and I leveled out the post pounder itself, just forward and backwards. I lowered this jack and then used the crane, brought the front down until it was level on that piece of metal there. So now I know when this is level that the whole thing will kind of be, you know, that this foot will be true. So I will get it trued up, and then we will tack it on and then pull the jack and weld it out fully. put something over it. I mean, it's good. It's not going anywhere. I should just went and turned my amperage down. I'll maybe just grind it so that the little booger's gone and call it good. My amperage was too hot there. I kept blowing through it, but I just kind of was too lazy to go and turn it down, but that's my own stupidity there. Some undercut there along the top, but it's all good. I just want to get rid of that one little spot there I do not like. Okay. Okay, so right now I'm just trying to get this thing kind of into a stored away position. It's pretty much all on its own footing. I'm just trying to get this pounder to tilt that way and maybe a little bit forward, and then I'll strap that in place there. But yeah, I don't know. Hopefully it works out okay. Well guys, there it is. That is 100% complete now as far as the chassis goes. The next step of this project obviously is going to be getting it running. I was going to pick up an engine the other day, but I thought, well, I'll see. Maybe talk to my father-in-law, like if they're going to want this thing back again, then they can pay for the engine. But if they don't ever need it, then I'll just buy one and then whatever. But I figured I might try to unseize it here a little bit if I can, but I don't know if we're ever going to find a proper intake for it. So who knows what'll happen there, but I'll try and film it. And then after that, I'll just be seeing what works and what doesn't from there. So, but anyway, this was kind of a fun little project, and quite pleased with the results. And I think that's going to work really, really good. So, yeah, once again, guys, thanks a lot for watching. Hear lots of coyotes out here. What's going on out there, Joe? Huh? What's going on out there, bud? Yeah, bad guys out there. Pretty quiet now. Yep, you scared him away, bud. You scared him.